Welcome to the Selling from the Heart podcast on the From the Heart Business Network. You've joined a global movement of sales professionals who are dedicated to being authentic and building trust. We call it Selling from the Heart. Together, we're on a mission to bring sincerity and substance to the sales profession we all love. Get ready to be inspired and equipped as we join our hosts, Larry Levine and Darrell Amy.
Hiring salespeople based on a resume or a great interview is like drafting players based on their Instagram highlights. They look amazing in the clips. That's until the real game starts.
Exactly. Every CEO's been there. The interviews go great. You think you're bringing a top performer onto your team, but once they hit the field, they can't close, won't prospect, and blame the leads.
That's exactly why we recommend Sales Index Unlimited Candidate Assessments. It's your sales recruiting engine that screens every candidate against 21 proven sales competencies, benchmarked against 2.5 million sales professionals worldwide. That is more than a personality profile. You'll know with confidence who can sell and who will actually do the work.
Because the best teams don't just fill positions, they build a bench. They're always scouting for great players who can perform under pressure.
For just $2.99 a month, you can build your own bench of ready-to-sell talent, coachable, driven, and proven before they ever get the jersey.
So stop guessing, start scouting like a pro.
Go to unlimited.salesindex.ai. That's unlimited.salesindex.ai and start building your next sales all-star team today. Hello and welcome back to the Selling from the Heart podcast. Your co-host, Darrell Amy, here today with Larry Levine. What's going on, Larry?
You know what? I just got to tell you, every time I hear that phrase, what's going on? I know we're in the Selling from the Heart podcast studio. Darrell, it's great seeing you. We're in for a treat.
We are going to everyone's looking outside themselves. Today, we're going to take a look on the inside. You're going to enjoy getting to know our friend Karen Kelly. And Larry, this community of sales professionals all over the world that say, hey, I'm all in on Selling from the Heart. It continues to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge shout out to a gentleman by the name of Owen Burns. Thanks for being involved in Selling from the Heart community. We appreciate you. I enjoy interacting with you online. One of these days we'll slap high fives. Don't know when, but I appreciate you, Owen.
Absolutely. Well, hey, we're going to have a great time today. Today, we're honored to welcome one of the 100 most powerful women in sales, a leader who's helping redefine what great selling and great leadership look like in today's world. Karen Kelly is a keynote speaker, sales trainer, fractional sales leader, and a recognized champion for women in sales. She helps organizations find, recruit, onboard, and promote top female sales talent while equipping sales professionals to lead with emotional intelligence, authenticity, and purpose. Her message is one we love here at Selling from the Heart. When you lead with authenticity, connection, and care, you don't just hit your number, you build trust, loyalty, and legacy. Karen, welcome to Selling from the Heart. It's awesome to have you here.
Thank you so much. You guys bring such joy. It's like, do you remember years ago, the Muppets? And they had the two guys at the top, but they were such comedic and they had great energy.
That's great.
You're like that.
Hey, Karen, but Darrell's the old man Muppet.
Well, then I miss Piggy. So
they bring the energy and the sarcasm. Absolutely love it. Hey, we're going to have a great time today, Karen. As we get started, I'm really curious your answer to the question, what does Selling from the Heart mean to you?
Yeah, great question. And I'll start, maybe this is a little bit different type of answer you're used to, but I'll tell you what it's not. And I know this firsthand is because I spent 20 plus years in corporate sales and I sold from the head and hustle. And it's because I really didn't know any other way. And I looked around me and everyone that I looked up to were like sales machines and they were grinding. And I was winning. I mean, it was on paper, I was winning, but on the inside, I was feeling very empty. And I remember growing up as one of four girls, showing emotion was deemed weakness in our house. So I remember thinking, well, if I, show up differently with heart, will I still achieve my numbers and will I still get the accolades? Because that was my identity. That was the role I played and kind of who would I be without it? And so I didn't intentionally seek out to sell with the heart, but I sought away from the head. And through, inner work, through energy, through surrendering into the person I was always meant to be, came selling from the heart and really being authentic. But it really starts with yourself. Because if you can't look inward with yourself and connect and understand what makes you happy and what lights you up, then how are you in a position to do it with others? So through years of just being connected to myself and being curious, I'm now in a position where I can truly lead from the heart, be others focused, because I am good inside. Like I've got myself checked out that I can now attend to others. And I'm not in a world of me first thinking. I'm definitely leading from the heart. So I don't know if that answers enough or well, but that's my story.
Oh, this is so good. There's a really, really interesting word, and I haven't heard it used here in quite some time, and the word surrendering. You got to please expand upon that. It's an interesting word when you start thinking about what it means to sell from the heart.
Well, I think when you look at everything, we have such a tight grip on everything, and we're trying to control so many things. And when you look at now the tariffs, the interest rates, there's so many forces against us that we have to look at. All we have is what we can control. And the first thing is ourselves and even our mindset. How do we reframe situations? And so we can surrender into what is, who I am and what I'm capable of achieving. That's the first step. Otherwise, we're constantly looking for these AI prompts and scripts and everything outside of ourselves, but we're also not true to ourselves. So this is where the sales training comes in. Any kind of message or methodology you're using, you're applying it onto an empty suit or a puppet because you haven't surrendered or come to know who you really are. So it's not effective. And that's what I see with so many people. Like, let me just try this. Let me try this. And it's like, just pause and check in and find out who that version of you is. Because some people, they don't want to know because they're afraid of what they're going to see. But when you do, there's peace and there's freedom of just, and it probably comes with a certain age and just life experience, but it's just like, take me as I am. I'm not hiding anything. I'm not attached to the outcome. You don't like me. I'm okay with that.
So the first thing is to pause, which is like that right there. Just that one word of pause in the life of a sales professional with all the pressure and all of the things coming at us. Hitting pause is a really big challenge for a lot of people. And I just, I don't think we need to skip over the importance of doing that. What does a pause look like for you, Karen? I'm curious.
Yeah. Well, I just finished a 9-month speaking program and it's take a beat, everything is take a beat. And so take a pause. But I think in order to stop that fight or flight or getting into that reactive mode, we just have to intentionally stop. And for the first few times, it's going to be hard because we're so used to, even in a sales call, filling the silence. So if you have put yourself on mute, some people have a bracelet and they flick it and they do something to remind themselves to pause so that you fully understand, like, where is this coming from? What's the motivation and the emotion behind it? Otherwise, you're the same as everyone else. You're just jumping to these solutions when you don't fully understand what's actually going on, even with yourself. I can go this way, but if I just pause for a moment, based on who I'm speaking to, maybe I'll come up with a more holistic or robust response that addresses all of their needs. So I think it's really important to pause for yourself. If you have a team, and just allow them to fill the silence. And even from your prospects, Salesforce says the number one complaint buyers have of sellers is that they don't feel heard. We don't understand their needs. And how can we when we're not even taking a pause to ask deeper questions and just let it sit with what they just shared with us and go, where is this coming from, so that we can unpack it?
Oh, this is good because I still got to hit on this pause because I love the awkward silence sometimes in conversations. Just that, you're having a conversation with someone and there's just nothing, right?
Yeah.
You may ask a question and then all of a sudden you're both are looking at each other for a little bit, because someone's processing something. That's where the magic happens. But too often in sales, they hate the awkward silence.
Yeah.
They walk us through this, because I think there's power in this awkward, I call it awkward silence.
Yeah.
But There's some power in this that I think people are missing out on.
Honestly, it takes confidence to really hold it. And what do they say? First person talks loses, right? But it's also looking at it from the other person's perspective. If you've just dropped a number or a range in a quote, or you've shared a metric or something, it's the first time they've heard it. So they actually need time to process it. And when we don't pause, we're making about ourselves. I feel uncomfortable. I need to do this for me. That's scarcity. I need to hold space for them, because they might need to see, how does this fit into my world? Okay, I see this dashboard here, but like, let me just go back to my team and what they're using. And they just need a moment to process it. So give them the space and the freedom to do that, and they will fill it. But we are so need to be in control, need to be right, afraid of trying anything new. And so what I would say is, for those people who are hesitant, just try it, because 3 to 5 seconds in our head feels like 10 minutes. It's not. It's not. Think about, even in tech, there's always a delay and glitches. Let that sit in. And especially when you asked a question, let them sit on it. If they need a clarification, they'll ask you, but hold the pause and let them process what it means in their world.
So powerful. Makes me want to pause.
Let's just take a beat.
Dead air is not good on radio. So, hey, if you think about now, okay, we have so many things outside our control in this world, in the companies in which we work, and all so many things in the life of a sales professional is outside our scope of control. But so we look outside all the time for things. You're telling us that we need to look inside. And by the way, I know Larry and I couldn't agree more with this. When it comes time to look inside, what does that look like for Karen? How do you go about doing this?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, I'll preface, I didn't do this most of my life.
Yeah.
The reason I can do it now is because I didn't do it before. And I was the empty suit going through the motions and really no awareness of the purpose or the impact I was having. And so now it's just about, I actually have a framework, and it's the 3 R's. And the first one is reframe. So how do we see things? Are we picking up on the obvious cues that everyone else sees, or can we look at the unspoken, the emotion, the leaning in? And then the next one is reveal. How can I model what I expect of others? So model the behavior, because when I show up, and I did this most of my professional career, polished, professional, closed, I taught them to keep their cards face down. So when I would ask questions about budget timeline, I wasn't getting the real stuff, because I was mirroring what good behavior looks like, and it wasn't. And then the third R is the revisit, like the back to sales fundamentals. And this is a thing. There's people that are new to sales, and they still need the fundamentals, right? They still need to understand how to follow a process, how to ask impactful questions. But for most of us, if we do the first R, so we check in with ourselves first and we reframe, like, I get to guide this decision versus I have to close this deal. Right away, that language shift, you show up differently. If you start revealing and showing up as your true authentic self, not hiding behind the safety of metrics and features, they actually see a person behind there, and they're going to start modeling that and disarming and being transparent. But everyone wants to stay close. And then finally, when you've done those 2 things, which will unlock a lot and actually give you 2 people who are ready to have a deep, trustful conversation, then the actual selling tactics are easy. And even if you have minimal experience, think about just human psychology, having a conversation. If your friend drops a big bomb on you that they broke up with somebody, you're not going to run and say, hey, do you want to see my new haircut? Like, you're going to hold space for that and unpack it. So I feel like if we can look inward first and just see, like, what am I bringing to this deal? You talk about friction, like, what friction am I bringing that I may not be aware of? So that first, how do I need to reframe? And then how do I need to reveal? Because everyone's hiding, and we already sound like ChatGPT. We are the differentiator. So if we can again surrender into our true authentic self, we become more memorable, because the part of the brain that actually makes the decision has no concept of language. It's emotion. And we have to evoke that in them.
I want to zero in. I want to go back and zero in on this reframing for a moment, because I find it fascinating. And what would be some other reframing questions somebody can ask as they're kind of revisiting themselves?
Before every call I get on, I do a 3-minute, I call it the OPP, the other person's perspective. So why does this matter to them? What are they hoping to achieve out of this call? What do they want to avoid talking about? What questions might not, they don't know to ask that I can bring up and guide them and teach them? Because we know 56% of deals end in indecision, and the underlying emotion is fear. And so when we know that and we're layering on more fear and uncertainty and doubt, it actually makes it worse, right? So how can you just really forget your selling messages and just say, how do I need to show up today? Like, even what core value do I need to lead with? Is it curiosity? Is it integrity? Is it trust building? So that you can be very intentional in that call and allow them to feel heard.
With all I just want to camp out for a moment on this stat that you shared and the insight behind it. 56% of deals are stuck. We know that. The core emotion behind it is fear. I think for our friends listening in, especially those of us who've been in sales for a while, I mean, I was taught early on in my sales career to pile on the fear, the uncertainty, and the doubt. Like, what a horrible thing to do. But I think, as much as that would make me cringe now, I think if I'm honest with myself, and I think if we're all honest with ourselves, some of that stuff we learned years and years ago is second nature. These are habits that are buried deep inside. And I'm just thinking about if we've been taught that, and then we live in this world that has, if you want fear, you can find it. You don't have to watch the Fear Factor to get fear. It's everywhere.
Yes.
So we walk in with this, kind of bad sales training habits from decades ago. And then we walk in a society that's just plastered with fear. And the number one thing holding back people from making positive decisions and moving forward is fear. So, I mean, it's just like the reality of that right now is to me, I'm just sitting here going, what can we do to show up without fear? And what can we do in those moments with our clients to help alleviate it? Because in a lot of ways, fear's the enemy here.
And I always say human first, salesperson second. Because when we know it's fear, the opposite is our goal is to bring confidence to their doubt and direction to their indecision. And so how do you do that? And a lot of it is disarming them with transparency and with vulnerability. And so, Darrell, this is who our solution is not for. If you are going to use this 2 or 3 times a year, it's probably not the model for you. Instead of putting 100 of your team through the training, why don't we start with 10 and get a few quick wins for you? Like, de-risk it for them, knowing that that's fear, because this is Matt Dixon and Ted McKenna's work and from the Jolt Effect. But nobody wants egg on their face. So nobody wants it to be thrown back on the DocuSign saying, hey, you signed up for this and she said it was going to work and it didn't. Right. So how can you de-risk it for them and really make it safe? And I sent an email the other day with this girl, and she was going to do some coaching work with me. And her COO left the company. It was a really bad time. And I had the choice to say, hey, you signed with me. Like, are we going to move forward? I said, look, I know you're navigating some difficult times. If this isn't the right time, and please let me know. And I was just so detached from the outcome. How could I lay fear on someone who's already, like, at a certain point, it's like, forget sales, like, be a good human. Don't be a jerk. Like, her business is struggling right now. Might not be the right time. She probably won't get the results working with me as she needs to because of all this. And so for me to lay more fear on it, it actually, if you look inwardly, it comes from my scarcity. And so part of it is like, why am I pushing so hard? Our job is not to push and to pull. It's to guide them so that they can confidently make a decision and have no regrets at the end. Say, my name's on the DocuSign and I've done my due diligence. I know this is it. And so part of it is just think about the other person and the impact, and remove yourself and emotion, and just even role reverse. Like, what if someone did this to me? That's not cool. I wouldn't want it. So I feel like when you can disarm and just be completely vulnerable, like, tell me where you're at and unpack the emotion and the motivation. Because if you don't, you're dealing with objections that aren't true. They're superficial, and it's just going to die. But at least if you understand what's actually going on, it might be it might genuinely be a not right now that you can get later, but hold space for the person to really understand what is going on.
Oh, there's something that I just got to bring this to the table. I'm sitting here listening to you guys talk about this, and now I'm looking at this through a salesperson's lens, and I'm going to go, okay, this is why prospecting every single day for business opportunities is so mission critical. The reason being is if I'm a salesperson and I have my pipeline's not that great, and it's quite empty, it's hard to do what Karen just said. And that's just that's the nature of all of this. Mm-hmm. Keep your pipeline full. And I saw this in my 30 years in selling is those people who had pipelines that were really full. I think it was easy for them to do some of this. I think it becomes difficult when you have 3 or 4 deals in your pipeline and you're struggling because everything you're deeply attached to. This is why prospecting every single day for business opportunities is so important.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a full pipeline trumps everything, right?
Yeah.
But the only thing I'll say is their CRM is lit up. It looks great. But when you look at the quality of those prospects, they're not. So even though they might only have 3 or 4, and they're afraid to, lead with that disarming and transparency, those 3 or 4 could run you 12 months and your sales cycle is 3 to 4 and you're never going to close them. So wouldn't you rather even have 1 or 2 that you actually could close and really nurture and even then expand upon them? And maybe they're greater value than the 3 or 4 combined, or start really qualifying and get a niche in your ICP to know these are the people I can solve. But I feel there's so many people hiding behind these fake metrics. And it's like, we got this great pipeline. And like, you just keep moving that date out every quarter. I mean, I know how it works, right? Just a day before the quarter, you see in Salesforce, it goes out a few. And it's like, that doesn't help. Exactly. It's like Tinder, swipe to the right. And so it doesn't help anybody. So I just think, even with the scarcity, I again, in my 23, 24, when I do this, I don't know, maybe not. But I think now I'm just all about all is real. Like, who am I kidding if I've got 5 bogus opportunities there that I know are never going to close? They're probably not even, even in my ideal customer, that I'm just fooling myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, congratulations for being nominated one of the top 100 women in sales. That's amazing. So cool. I'm curious, as we wrap this conversation up today, what would you say to women who are in sales or women who are thinking about becoming sales professionals?
I would say, like anything, just do it. I do so many posts on this. Even I have a 9-year-old daughter, and she's getting exploited now. She's my guinea pig. But the whole message behind it is, you can be afraid. A lot of people also have this preconceived notion of sales as, Glengarry Glen Ross, coffee is for closers, all that stuff. And it's, when you look at the innate strengths of women, we build trust, we connect, we nurture. Like, those are the things that are so important in selling. So what comes to us naturally and innately are the things that allow you to close deals. So if you don't believe in yourself and you think it's a male-driven world and it's really hard, it's not. So I would say, start by even like talking to someone like me, someone who's been in it, and ask questions, get curious and say, like, what can I expect? But having done it my entire life, all I can say, it's the best career ever. It's financially freeing. You actually help people and find a product or a solution that's actually meaningful for you, so that it doesn't feel like you're selling. You're just telling someone about a great shampoo or a great hairdresser. You just, that passion comes through because it's helped you so much. So I would say, don't think about it too much. And if you're on the fence, maybe talk to somebody who's already in it to, again, disarm yourself if you're leading with fear and say, like, could I see myself in this? But most people that go in stay in for a reason.
Hey, you know what's interesting about this is sales is, and we talk about it all the time, Karen, at Selling from the Heart. Sales is such a noble profession, always has been. I mean, if people don't sell things, money doesn't move through the economy at the rate that it needs to. So regardless if you're male or female on this, I would encourage everyone get into sales. It's a great profession. Yeah. Just do it the right way.
Yeah. Yeah. And we all are in sales when you think about, like, I negotiate with my kids for the remote control for what are we having for dinner with my husband vacation spot. So we're already doing it. Just get paid to do it now.
Just get paid for it. I love it. What a fun conversation. Karen, I know our listeners are thinking, how can I get more Karen Kelly in my life?
Well, they can find me on LinkedIn, Karen Kelly. They can come to my website, k2perform.com. You join my newsletter. That's the best way.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks for sharing your heart. I love the conversation we've had. I think this is going to really help a lot of people. So, Karen, appreciate you.
Thank you so much, both of you.
Awesome.
Oh, you're awesome.
Fun times. Great conversation today. And I love, just saying, hey, let's pause on this. Let's pause and let's look inside. And this is, let's surrender to this. And it's so many concepts here that Karen talked about. I think in today's world where pressure and uncertainty and all of this stuff that's swirling around us, it's maybe, I hate to say never been more important than ever, but it has never been more important than ever to look inside. And so I want to challenge everybody to take what we learned from Karen today and take it to heart and actually do it. Hit the pause button. Maybe even after the end of this episode, hit the pause button and start looking inside a little bit.
Hey, I promise you this. If you do open the cupboard into who you are, you're going to find somebody in there that's really, really cool. Looking inward is actually a good thing. It's a good thing because you will achieve greater levels of success outward. You just got to make the first move. You just got to open the cupboard.
And then how about that conversation about fear? Just, how much fear are we bringing into the situation intentionally, unintentionally? Are we a bringer of fear? Or are we a reliever of fear? Very, very important questions.
No, absolutely. And here's what I like. I love the pause. I really do. I love the silence in conversations, especially when you can see they're actually thinking about it. So, great conversation with Karen. Absolutely great. There's gold in the silence.
Absolutely. Well, thank you to everybody who is sharing this show. This audience continues to grow as we're finding more and more friends all over the world who say, hey, I believe in selling from the heart. I believe in being genuine, being authentic, building trust. So would you do us a favor? Leave us a review on the podcast, share it with a friend, and we'll continue to gather together all of these amazing, amazing people in this sales profession we all love, Larry.
Absolutely. This is a great community. Continue to wave the flag. We appreciate all of you.
So till next time, keep being genuine, keep being authentic, keep building trust. Hit the pause button and do some introspection. And most of all,
sell from the heart.